So so this is one of those times where I'm not going to talk about just one idea. I'm going to be talking about several ideas for Spider-Man and Danny Phantom teaming up. And this is, like I said, this is a fan fiction I've always wanted. I've actually said this several times because it's very clear that Butch Hartman got a lot of inspiration from Spider-Man to do, for Danny Phantom. It's very clear in a lot of it. And plus, it's very clear that he wants to go back to Danny Phantom, because if you've seen his, 10 years later and drawing other characters in the designs of Danny Phantom or Fairly Odd Parents, or I think it was both design. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Basically, he wants to go back. Butch Hartman clearly wants to go back to Danny Phantom, and so do we all. So say we all. Anyway, so yeah, this is one of those times where I had not one idea, but several ideas. So yeah, I've had several ideas of Danny Phantom and Spider-Man teaming up, and all these little scenarios in my head. They just never really coalesced for me, though. So the first idea involves the image, what you are seeing, the Jackal. And you may be thinking, really? The Jackal? Really? The Jackal? Why, of all Spider-Man villains, the Jackal? Why is the Jackal here? I'll tell you why. If you guys remember that one episode that introduced Danny Phantom, Danny with an I, Vlad confirmed that he had been cloning Danny's DNA and made all those imperfect clones. In other words, Butch Hartman just made a 30-minute special of it's clearly an adaptation of the Clone Saga. That is you cannot tell me otherwise that it's clearly, Butch Hartman's 30-minute episode of the Clone Saga. He literally did the Clone Saga in 30 minutes, and you could argue, well, it's no argument because the Clone Saga sucks, that it was better. Anyway, and it's, yeah, Danny Phantom is clearly supposed to be like a female Ben Reilly. All we needed was Kane. All we needed was a Kane, and we're good, and we'd have been fine. Anyway, so, yeah. So the idea is kind of simple, is that this kind of goes back to how Vlad got the power, it's very, because, yeah, he may be a millionaire and a scientist, but cloning is a really hard job. Cloning is, you need to get that shit down perfectly. So yeah, the idea is that Vlad, even though he's a skilled scientist, he still needs help using, cloning. It's very out of his depths. So he goes to Miles Warren, the Jackal, for assistance, and the Jackal's like, oh boy, clones! I'm good at that! I feel like that, how he's written now is how he was written in Spider Island, how he was written in Spider Island is probably the best, that's probably the best way to his dialogue went. But yeah, the Jackal basically helped Vlad and helped him in the early cloning experiments. So that was kind of the idea, is that it's Vlad and the Jackal teaming up to create a more perfect clone. He's called the Jackal Services in, and he wants to create a better clone, but in order to do that, they need Danny Phantom's DNA, Danny with an I. They need Danielle's DNA. They need her DNA in order to complete and purify the genome sequence. And now that she has been complete, this is after her second appearance in the series. So Jackal says, "Hey, look, she's all fixed. We can, her genetic structure's all done. It's all well put together. Here's what I need you to do. Go get her, because now she holds the secrets of creating an even better clone for you." So yeah, that was kind of the thing. The problem is that it was kind of hard to get Spider-Man, trying to get Spider-Man in this story. That was the problem for me in this one, was that how the hell is Peter Parker going to fit in here? Because Danny doesn't go and Danielle doesn't go anywhere, and the Jackal usually keeps to the shadows. He's not one of other Spider-Man's villains that goes, "Hey, Spider-Man, da-da-da, fuck you." He's more like in the shadows making clones and shit. So, yeah, it would have been hard for unless Spider-Man was there in in Amity Park, which, trust me, I have a few ideas for that. But yeah, that was kind of the big problem, was that, yeah, how is Spider-Man going to team up in this story? It's cool to have the Jackal working with Vlad, because, yeah, clones, It would make sense for him. The other person I would say that, and I kind of had this similar idea involving Danny Phantom, but this time, with clones, but this time it was a Danny Phantom and X-Men crossover involving Vlad teaming up with Sinister to, use Danielle's DNA to make a more superior clone. It's basically the same idea, but this time around it's Danny teaming up with the X-Men. It's not like they've fought Ghost before. Hell, they've met Ghost Rider several times, so it's not out of the total ordinary. Anyway, so, yeah, that was, that's kind of the idea. What was I going to say with this? Yeah, so there was kind of it. That was the problem, is that how do I get Spider-Man into this clone story? Anyway, so moving right along, we have another idea, but this time it's Vlad teaming up with Osborn. And yeah, I would have it that Vlad and Norman know each other as the Green Goblin and Vlad Plasmius because because what happened was that when Vlad was possessing millionaires and buying out and making them buy out his companies to him, he more or less tried to do that with Norman, but Norman's goblin persona pushed him out, and they're like, "Oh, I know who you are. Well, I know who you are too, bitch." So they kind of came to this mutual agreement that, yeah, we're just going to know each other's secret identities and not tell anyone. You won't tell me. You won't tell if you. I won't tell if you won't. That's how it kind of amounted to. So in here, Danny, Vlad and Norman are teaming up because, they have the resources. Together with their combined resources and skills, they could probably take out Danny and Vlad at the same time, Danny and Peter at the same time with the combined not only resources but people they know. So yeah, it was the loose idea was basically Vlad and Norman get a myriad of Danny and Peter's enemies together to try and kill him. Again, that was kind of as far as I got with the idea. A few others involved Dr. Octopus teaming up with Technus. All I thought was, oh, cool, Octavius and Technus teaming up. That would be sweet. How do I do that? I didn't really have one for the symbiote. I never thought of one for the symbiote because everyone, when you really look at it, 90% of Spider-Man, I'm getting tongue-tied real bad here, I'm sorry guys. Yeah, 90% of why do I keep saying Danny Phantom? Spider-Man crossovers revolve around pretty much the symbiotes. There's a ton out there that usually just deal with the symbiotes. And not to say that's bad, it's just that it's kind of overplayed. I really, I like the symbiotes, I like Venom and Carnage, but yeah, it's not really needed. It's not, there are other villains outside. There are a few times where I see other Spider-Man villains get the limelight in these fanfiction crossovers, but more often than not, it usually kind of amounts to the symbiotes being involved somehow. And again, I'm not trying to diss fanfiction writers, it's just that I've kind of seen it a lot. Oh, this person gets the Venom symbiote, or that person gets the Venom symbiote. That's how it kind of, I feel like it's been done before. So I would like to do it. I actually have an idea for for Carnage, actually, but it's not with Danny Phantom. It's more along the lines of another character, and I guess I'll talk about it in another video. So, yeah, I guess I'll be talking about that. But yeah, so yeah, that was kind of it. There was several ideas, but as you can see, I didn't really get too far with them. Unfortunately, sadly, I didn't get too far with them because it was just the problem of Spider-Man. Peter needs a reason to go to Amity Park because I sincerely doubt that Danny could ever leave Amity Park and go to New York. There has to be like a force that drives them together. Oh yeah, almost forgot. I did have one more idea that kind of crossed that boundary, and this was an idea where Danny and Peter have actually switched lives, where Danny has been bitten by a radioactive spider, where he was bitten by a radioactive spider, and he's Spider-Man, and Peter is known as Peter Phantom. And why is this an altered life? Is this an alternate universe? No! the big thing reveal was that it was a combination of because eventually it was kind of like the Batman animated episode. The Batman animated series episode, Pre-Can't to Dream, where really Danny and Peter discover they're living separate lives. They're living each other's lives through a dream machine, and it's all it's the ones behind it. Oh God, I am so sorry, guys. I am tripping over my words bad tonight. I am so sorry. But what I'm trying to say is the ones behind this whole scheme is Nocturne and Mysterio. That's who is behind it. Nocturne and Mysterio. Yeah. So there you go. Again, it was just a matter of... It's a cool plot, but really, how far can you press the whole dream thing, and still, it's the whole matter of, oh, that's a cool idea. How the fuck do I do it? So you guys tell me, what do you guys think of all these Spider-Man Danny Phantom ideas? Do you guys like them? Do you guys hate them? Just comment below, let me know. Once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.